Our thanks to Dick Enberg in Houston with Doug Collins and Isaiah Thomas. This is Bob Costas. Just about time for tip-off between the Bulls and the Rockets. Michael Jordan and company have won 11 in a row. He scored 41 in their most recent victory Friday night at home against Minnesota. They've also won 10 of their last 11 road games. They're without Luke Longley. His knee continues to bother him on the injured list, and Tony Kukoc with a sore foot is also out. So Pippen and Rodman are the forwards. Wennington starts at center with Harper and Jordan in the backcourt. Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler are all healthy, at least relatively speaking, for tonight's game for the Rockets. But these days, Barkley does not start. He comes off the bench. Clyde Drexler with only 8 regular season games remaining, and then perhaps only a handful in the playoffs, since the Rockets will enter it likely as the 7th or 8th seed. And then he moves on to his alma mater, the Houston Cougars, to become their head coach. As promised, we'll go back to Dick Enberg, and he'll wrap up the golf a bit later. Meanwhile, we're underway in Houston, and Scottie Pippen saves it in, but into the arms of Clyde Drexler. Drexler, who leads them in scoring at 18 a game. Kevin Willis from the foul line. Willis played especially well at center while Olajuwon missed more than 30 games. Then they moved him to forward when the dream came back.
Bob, I think it's vitally important for Houston to get off a great start today. They've got the crowd into the game. They need to capitalize on that and not lose this crowd and try to win them back.
Harper fouled off the Jordan pass. The Bulls are playing before their 262nd consecutive sellout crowd, home and away. In fact, their string of home sellouts is over 500. And along the way to winning championships, they've also set attendance records. Most recently, 62,000 plus, a bit more than a week ago at the Georgia for a game against the Hawks. Olajuwon rejects it. Bulls ball from the side.
That's what they depend on Olajuwon for. He's a defensive stopper. He shuts down the basket, he closes down the lane, and when penetration comes, he sends it out of there.
Here's Wennington starting for Longley. Pippen's jumper is long. And Drexler wins the battle for the loose ball. Ellie always a three-point threat, as is Maloney. Three-pointers a big part of Houston's game when they're on. But they lose it, and on the turnover, back comes Chicago. Jordan's first shot is there.
This is where the Bulls must strike against Houston. They have the speed, they have the quickness. They do not want to make it a half-court game. Take advantage of every opportunity they can before Olajuwon gets down the floor to anchor their defense.
Out of bounds to Houston. Michael Jordan is averaging 28.5. Shaq had 35 today for the Lakers in an overtime win at Detroit. His season average is now at 27.8. It's not out of the question that Shaquille O'Neal could overtake Michael Jordan for the scoring title. Maloney for 3. He once made 8 of them in a playoff game against Seattle.
Bob, you'll see Houston wear out the left side of the court today. Most of their players will be ran on the left side of the court, either for a three-point shot or a dump into the post.
Rodman to Jordan. Baseline jumper is short. Olajuwon has it stolen from behind by Harper. Harper's leaning jumper comes up short, and Olajuwon clears it.
One of the things to watch for, the Bulls have historically shot very poorly in this building. They're 2-17 here, and they have not shot the ball well. They have not gotten off to a great start today.
1 of 5 from the floor thus far. Drexler for 3. Willis tried to tip it home, but Jordan is there. The Rockets have lost 5 in a row, and they've looked bad doing it. They're down to 500 at 37-37. Pippen. Ellie with Drexler ahead of it. Leads him, but not quite well enough. Harper, stutter steps and travels.
Now what Chicago has come out and tried to do early in the game is get a lot of ball movement to take the fans out of the game, move the defense around, and kind of take a little energy out of the Rockets.
Houston lost at home to Golden State Thursday by 20 the next night in Atlanta. They were crushed recently at Miami and at Orlando. Rodman pulls in the miss. Comfortably in front in the rebounding battle, better than 15 a game. He'll win the title for the 7th time in his career.
Bill Wennington must look for his outside shot. Olajuwon's going to roam defensively. The strength of Wennington's game is making some open shots. That's the one he's going to have to make right there.
As you said. 5-4 Houston. Olajuwon screening from Maloney. Now he gets it back and hits a 17-footer.
Now Olajuwon will be able to take Wennington on the outside, put the ball on the floor and go up and get a shot. He'll be able to put him down on the post also, but he'll probably want to take him out on the outside and get that 15-footer.
Pippen in traffic, thought he was fouled, no call. Misses the jumper, and as Rodman battles for the rebound, a whistle from Joe DeRosa working today's game with Bennett Salvatore and Jim Kinsey. Drexler's first. Michael, what a move!
Wow. Throws him on the pick and roll, stutter step. Houston has a hard time playing the pick and roll. Olajuwon don't like to come out. And Jordan is able to turn the corner and freeze the defender and go in for the easy dunk.
Wennington trying to defend Olajuwon. One of his assortment of moves, but the shot isn't there for him.
Now, one of the things the Rockets don't do is offensive rebound very well, Bob. What they do is they space the floor, depend on three-point shooting. But if you miss the shot, very rarely do they get an offensive rebound. That could hurt them today against the Bulls. They need to get some multiple opportunities.
Pippen drives on Drexler, then tries to dish to Wennington, but loses it. Back comes Clyde. Nice feed for Willis. Boy, Drexler was all over that sequence.
Houston is very good in transition. When they can get the ball off the glass, get it into the open court, that's what Drexler is the most effective.
It's a good start, though, for Houston. They've defensively done a nice job, and they've got some easy baskets. There's Wennington once again with a little jumper.
And Drexler with another rebound. Pushes it up the floor. The question with Houston always is, though, can they sustain this kind of pace through 4 quarters, given their age? Drexler hits the 3 plus the foul. When we come back, Clyde will be at the line.
This is Dick Enberg back in New Orleans, the English Turn Golf and Country Club. Steve Flesch finishing his work, his 3rd shot at the 18 out of trouble. Flesch, the Kentucky Wildcat, finished 2nd. Nike Louisiana to John Wilson last week, and today his biggest ever payday. Makes birdie here at 18. He finishes 2nd, or par here at 18, and $183,000. And the winner, Lee Westwood, this for birdie at 18. Almost punctuates a tremendous week. Only the 3rd player to shoot all 4 rounds in the 60s at English Turn. 69, 68, 67, and a 69 today. 15 under for the tournament. His first ever win on American soil. Flesch is 2nd, Carter Day, Lowry and Wiebe share 3rd, and Duffy Waldorf finishes 7th. Now back to Bob Costas in Houston.
Dick, thanks very much. Jeff Sleed of our NBC staff working today's game with Mr. Stats, Elliot Kalb, lives here in Houston and tells us that this is by far the loudest the crowd has been in this building for any game this year. Even with the Rockets struggling, when the Bulls come to town, any town, it has the feeling of an event. Drexler completes a 4-point play. And the Rockets lead by 7. Ellie trying to guard Jordan. Got a piece of it. And into the arms of Olajuwon. Drexler guarded by Harper. Maloney dumps it back down to the Dream. 4 seconds to shoot. Drexler for 3 again, straight on, and it's long.
See, they got to be able to get that ball into Olajuwon in the post a lot deeper. Maloney has to be able to take that ball to the side and punch it in, so Olajuwon will have Wennington on his back so he can spin to the middle and shoot his little jump hook.
Drexler with Pippen. Wennington open.
See, once again, Olajuwon's going to track that ball, Bob. Wherever it is, he's going to go back there. He's the only shot blocker on this team. Wennington, if he will find the open area, will get a lot of those shots today. He's already 2 for 3 now.
And that's where you have to make the entry pass from.
Drexler, another three. This one spins out.
Sometimes that three-point line seduces you into taking long shots. Drexler had an easy 15-foot shot there.
This time it was Pippen who was seduced and comes up empty.
See, I think you got to come quick post right now. Let Olajuwon get in there, try to get the ball to him quickly so you have enough time on the clock to play out of the double teams.
Dream into the lane.
Earlier in the season, Olajuwon was having a hard time coming into the middle off that knee injury, off the surgery that he had. He was uncomfortable coming into the middle, but now he's starting to turn into the middle more.
Well, he's missed 33 games. His scoring average down to 16. Wennington again. Hakeem is a career 24-point-a-game scorer, and at his peak, he was around 27, 28. This year, a fraction over 16. All of their big three, Barkley, Drexler, Olajuwon, significantly down from their career averages. And Olajuwon is fouled by Wennington.
Bob, let's take a look at this play right here. The ball's going to go into Olajuwon, and he's going to come into the middle, and you're going to see the three-point shooters, but you're not going to see any rebounding. So what happens is, if the shot is missed, there's absolutely no opportunity for the offensive rebound. That's one of the strengths of the Rockets shooting the three. It's also one of the weaknesses if they don't make the shots.
Ellie cranks up a three. No luck on it. And Wennington has it. Ellie is one of those guys who has seen his three-point percentage really drop off now that they've moved the line back. Pippen fouled. Ellie was a 42% three-point shooter a year ago. This year, only 28. The significance of this game for Chicago. They're a game better than Seattle, a game and a half better than Utah. So every game of the remaining 8, and they play 8 in the last 14 days, and that could be wearying for them. Every one of those games could count.
Every game counts for Chicago. However, I believe Chicago is so confident in their skills that it doesn't matter if they play on the road or at home.
The one thing about having the home court advantage, though, if a team beats you or you beat out on the road, they have to beat you twice in their build. That's very tough to do. So with the Bulls, if you would have to beat them twice in the United Center, that'd be awfully hard because chances are they're going to beat you on the road one time.
Willis is long with the turnaround, out of bounds off Pippen. A moment ago, Scotty's basket was his first after 4 misses from the floor. Barkley for the first time. Still a terrific rebounder, but not the scorer he once was, and he's down to about 30 minutes a game.
See, I think he has to be aggressive today and look to score. No more of this passing. I think he has to look to put points on the board.
Eddie Johnson misses upon his entry into the game. Pippen, quick turnaround. And Eddie Johnson will be 39 on May 1st. Scoops up the rebound.
Scottie Pippen just cannot find a jump shot here to start this game. He's had great looks at the basket.
You know, Doug, there are some arenas that you play in that you just can't shoot well in, and this may be one for Scottie where he has a hard time finding the soft spot.
Harper left alone. Cans the three.
See, that's a big shot for Ron Harper, because when you play the Bulls, if there's one guy out there you must make shots, that's Harper. And now he stepped up. He was 12 for 71 from 3 going into tonight's game, and he hits his first one.
Willis working on Wennington, draws a double team. They swing it to Maloney, 3 seconds to shoot, and Ellie has it shoved back in his face by Pippen, who gets it back to Harper for the swoop to the hoop.
See, I think Maloney's got to take that foul there and not let Scottie Pippen score. When you're struggling and you let a guy get a layup or a dunk, many times that will get you going. I think you've got to make him go to the free throw line and make 2 free throws.
Chicago's on a 9-0 run. Barkley trying to end it. The basket does not count. The foul came before the shot. And will step aside.
Ahmad Rashad back in Houston. Now, last night I had the pleasure of going to dinner with two of the best friends in the NBA, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan. Now, as you can imagine, that the main course was a large helping of trash talk. And Charles saying that there's no way that Michael would beat him today, and Michael going back the other way. But the crowning moment on the whole evening was when Charles finally broke down and said, Michael, in case this is the last time we play against each other, can I have your shoes? Michael said, yes, you can have my shoes. I'll even put number 45 on there. He said, but that's your number. He said, yeah, but that's how many points I'm going to give you tomorrow. So that was the end of that trash talk, Bob.
Actually, Ahmad, I thought the crowning moment was when they stiffed you at the tab. Barkley fouled again. The Bulls lead at 17-15. Steve Kerr has come in for the first time, as has Dickie Simpkins.
You can see what's happened here as the Rockets have rested Olajuwon. Phil Jackson has rested Winnington. Looks like he wants to have those two guys matched up. They have a smaller team on the floor, so he can go with Dickie Simpkins and get by with a smaller team. So I think he'd like to see Winnington as much as he can on the floor against Olajuwon, also for the offensive purpose of being able to make that little jump shot.
The last time the Rockets played the Bulls in January at the United Center, Barkley had 35 points and 14 rebounds. This without Drexler and Olajuwon. They lost 106-100 to the Bulls, as Michael had 45, but it was a great personal duel between the two friends. And we mentioned this earlier. As their careers wind down, so too do their scoring averages.
You know, some people believe that you can't be great friends and compete in this league. I think just the opposite. I think you can be great friends because it makes you compete harder against each other.
Well, you had some classic battles with Magic Johnson when you guys were best friends. I remember you guys went at each other pretty hard in the playoffs that one year.
Yeah, that definitely made us compete harder against each other, although Riley didn't like it because he believed that because of our friendship that Magic was taking it easy on me. But quite the contrary, I think Magic was going harder at me because of our friendship.
After Barkley misses 2 free throws, Jordan is hit with an offensive foul at the other end. Houston looks for the tie, or maybe the lead, and Belly hits this one. And now they're up 18-17.
The double team and the three-point shot.
Michael answers.
See, what Jordan is so good at doing, he's so fundamentally sound. He was able to get Ellie on his back early and then spin off him right into the middle and for the easy dunk.
Barkley backing Simpkins down. Then up top to Eddie Johnson. Consecutive threes by Ellie and Johnson.
You can see what's happened, though, as the Bulls have double teamed. It's the three-point line, move the ball out of the double team, back-to-back three-point shots. That's when the Rockets are playing their best offensively.
Jordan gives them a fresh 24 off the Pippen miss. Rodman. Simpkins. He won't take many. And perhaps that's why Pippen follows and can't bank it in. Stolen away by Jordan.
Did you see the presence of mind when Michael stole that ball? Immediately his eyes went to the shot clock to see how much time was left. We got the last possession, he said. I'm going to ice it down here, drive it in here, jump up and shoot it and score.
Trying to tie it, but can't. And Barkley threw an elbow as he gathered in the rebound. So with 1.9 on the clock, the Bulls will have it. Barkley leads the league, actually tied with Karl Malone in a dubious category, 24 technical fouls.
You love the intensity that Houston has come out with. They're a team that was lacking energy. He was looking for the tee, and now he got it.
And he's taken the league lead. Congratulations.
But Barkley told us yesterday, and Clyde referenced to it also, that they didn't come out with a lot of energy. They didn't come out with a lot of passion. They're an older team now that relies on the opponent to get them motivated, and Chicago has brought the motivation for them to play here today.
Barkley just had to cough up 10 grand to the league office for calling official Jack Neese gutless after Neese hit him with a technical in a game a few weeks ago.
You wanted the clock, right?
Kerr, the logical choice to shoot the technical.
See, with Steve Kerr back and Scott Burrell shooting the ball so well, Those two pieces are very, very important as the Bulls go into the stretch run here for the playoffs, because if you're going to run off of Michael or Scottie Pippen, those guys can hit you with three-point shots, and it entirely stretches the game for the Chicago Bulls.
They put a half second on the clock. They've got 2.4. Michael beats the buzzer. But the Rockets end the first 12 minutes with a slim lead. Houston 21, Chicago 20. This is the NBA on NBC.
Golf's not hard with Tiger Woods and the Air Zoom TW.
A common problem in golf is the slice. One solution is to play with a gallery. Having women and children to my left and right is a handy reminder that I need to keep my club face square. Now let's see how this tip works for Joe, a 27 handicapper from Logansport. Go get him, Joe. Joe overcompensated for his slice and hooked it. Something we'll be sure to work on next time.
Destined to meet.
We've got two aliens running around.
Driven to mate.
The resulting strain of offspring would be unstoppable.
Once they start.
Half human, huh?
We're finished. Species 2, rated R. Starts Friday.
Metal bars, designed to save your butt. Metal bars, designed to save your skin. Introducing the revolutionary Schick Protector, designed with super sharp blades wrapped in ultra-thin safety wires. And a full pivoting head for incredible closeness. There's no safer shave in the world. Hey, safe feels better. Schick Protector, the feel of smart design.
How to speak Australian. Witness Protection Program. Beer. Foster's, Australian for beer.
And now, the Acura Great Performance Sales Event presents the Acura TL, performing to Beethoven's Allegro Vivace. Come into the Acura Great Performance Sales Event now. Lease the powerful Acura 2.5 TL for $339 a month at your local Acura dealer.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Rudy T's Rockets had just the 6th best record in the West when they won their 2nd consecutive title in '95. They came from the 6th seed to do it, and that sparked talk here that perhaps they could do something similar this time, coming from the 7th or 8th seed. But Olajuwon, Barkley, Drexler, at this point, they're star names, but not night in, night out the same kind of star players they once were. They're still very, very good, but they're past their peak. And even with all three of them in the lineup, Houston is 18-13 this year. That is not an overall championship pace.
I think one thing, though, if you ask Rudy, and we talked to him yesterday about it, Bob, he was looking for that ray of sunshine with their defense. Defense is what won championships for them. He said, I'd love to see us start getting teams to 20-point quarters. Well, you know what? First quarter, the Rockets win it 21-20. Excellent defensive quarter. He has to be very pleased with that. Now can they sustain it over a four-quarter period of time?
And to follow up on that, Doug, when the Rockets hold their opponents to 50% or lower, they're 30-13. But when the opponents shoot 50% or better, they're 7-22.
Kerr with a steal. The second quarter begins with Jordan on the bench. Chicago trailing by 1. Scott Burrell can't change that. And Barkley has the rebound. Here's Brent Price in for the first time.
Rudy T's trying to buy some minutes here with his bench.
Othella Harrington hits with the lefty hook.
He has to really be careful because he doesn't have a team out there that can score a lot of points. So this team must play excellent defense, not let the Bulls hit them with any kind of surge with Michael Jordan resting.
But this is the group, Doug, that has to supply the energy.
Pippen blew the dunk, but a whistle. Eddie Johnson hit with the foul. NBA.com is the best place on the web to follow your favorite team. Log on to NBA.com's Courtside Live for up-to-the-minute shot charts and live box scores from every game in progress. Just one click away at NBA.com. Pippen misses the first.
Scotty really pulled the string on that shot. It looked like he really didn't trust himself. You know, Isaiah, as you talked about, this might be one of those buildings where Scotty has a little bit of a mental block trying to shoot in here.
You know, there's some arenas where you just can't shoot well in. I could never shoot well in Phoenix's arena, but whenever I went to Golden State, it just seems like it was a dark arena, the lighting was perfect, and you can see the rim, and the basket looked like it was the size of a peach basket.
Barkley over Rodman.
No double team that time, straight up in the post, and Charles just muscled Rodman into the basket.
Barkley's first basket. Harper with an off-balance shot, and Barkley there to clear it. Emmanuel Davis pushing it to the front court. Brent Price three, way short.
See, that's a terrible shot on the fast break. You got numbers. You got to take it to the basket like that.
And it cost them at the other end as the Bulls had the numbers in transition, and Pippen will have a chance for a three-point play.
Now watch Charles use his strength. He'll muscle in. There's no double team. He gets to bounce the ball 3 or 4 times. And when he's able to get that close to the basket, you're not going to be able to stop him. Now you watch Pippen on the break. They spread the lanes. They run the lanes wide. And he's able to take it right to the basket. That's what Houston should have did on their last fast break.
See, again, though, Emmanuel Davis ran right by Scottie Pippen. Emmanuel Davis is not going to get in foul trouble. He's going to play 5 or 6 minutes. Take the hard foul. Make him make a couple free throws. Don't let the guy lay the ball in the basket. Scottie Pippen's got 3 hoops, one of them on a dunk and the other one on a layup.
Randy Brown in now for the first time off Phil Jackson's bench. And a jump ball was called by Bennett Salvatore.
Harrington just got careless that time with the basketball. He's looking for the cutter, and Eddie Johnson. Eddie got held up on the cut, and he got careless and got tied up.
Pippen, Rodman, Burrell, Kerr, and Brown on the floor now for the Bulls. Pippen against Drexler, out of bounds to Chicago. Drexler has just checked back in. He joins Barkley, Johnson, Price, and Harrington. And now Phila Harrington will leave, and Akeem Olajuwon returns.
Let's see how long Phil Jackson will allow Dickie Simpkins to play against Olajuwon, or if he'll match back with Bill Winnington.
Dickie Simpkins.
That's a great show and go. That's something that a lot of players don't use anymore. A lot of players just take that shot. Dickie gave him the up fake and was able to get right to the basket.
That's one of those things, though. Know your personnel. Don't run it Dickie Simpkins. Make him shoot a jumper.
Eddie Johnson. Kerr chases the rebound to the corner. Johnson playing with a bone chip in his elbow, his right elbow. He says that at times it's caused him to alter his shot.
Well, he's taken enough shots in his life to have a bone chip.
Just wearing it out. And Burrell misses a 3.
See, they have a fast break and they bring it up the side of the court. You got to take that ball to the middle of the court where you have options.
The option in this case was a Drexler 3. He had all kinds of time to line it up.
See, when you keep the ball in the middle of the floor, you have the chance to use the left side and the right side of the court. As a guard, you can't bring that ball up the right side or the left side. You got to keep it in the middle of the floor.
Simpkins feeling frisky. He's 1 for 3.
So that's what you have to do. You have to make him shoot the ball.
Barkley's rebound was his 6th. Johnson with a mismatch against Brown, who fouled him. Eddie Johnson at the line when we come back. 8:35 to play in the first half.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mountain Dew, who reminds you to do the do. By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by Ford Explorer. Explorer, built Ford tough.
Jordan returns as the Bulls break their huddle. Trailing 28-25. And Eddie Johnson will be at the line. Johnson, as we mentioned, will be 39 on May 1st. Mario Elie is 34. Willis, Drexler, Barkley, and Olajuwon all 35. They've got a bunch of guys who were around when Naismith hung the peach basket. Next Sunday, the NBA on NBC continues. Another doubleheader. It begins at 12:30 Eastern Time with Showtime. In Game 1, it's the Knicks against Pat Riley's Heat. And in the second half, Charles, Hakeem, and the Rockets taking on Gary Payton and the Western Conference leading Supersonics. A doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern next Sunday on NBC.
As you see Michael Jordan come back into the game, Scotty gets his first rest. And one thing Phil Jackson has always done is make sure he's got either Michael or Scotty on the floor at all times. Very rarely do both those guys rest at the same time. They have to anchor that unit that they're out there with.
Jordan over Drexler.
Now, that's one of the battles that Jordan takes personally. He and Clyde, they love to battle each other. They've been 1 and 2 in the league as the best shooting guards for a long time. And when he sees Drexler, when Drexler sees him, both their eyes light up.
The pass for Olajuwon, too heavy. And on the turnover, Jordan comes back. Pull up, and he's got 10.
Drexler has to answer the challenge right now.
Mario Elie covered Michael the entire first quarter. Drexler's got him now, and Rudy T wants a 20. The Rockets lead it 30-29 with 7:41 to play. And now they change their minds and make it a full timeout, leaving us an opportunity to show you these important messages. As the teams went to their benches a moment ago, here's Charles Barkley with a little love tap for Michael Jordan. You remember, Zeke, they were going at it that way in January at the United Center, jawing and bumping the entire game.
I think that's great when two guys can play that hard against each other and compete and still come out and have fun. That's what the game is all about, and they display their love for it every time they play against each other.
Barkley, short over Rodman. Charles more or less had his own way with Rodman guarding him in that game earlier this season, scoring 35.
Again, one shot and done. No offensive rebounds, no second shot opportunities.
And Price has the loose ball. Pulls up and misses short. Olajuwon with the bounce to Barkley, who try to follow it and can't. Loose ball to Burrell. And finally a whistle as he's fouled by Price.
See, that's just terrible guard play by Brent Price.
Twice now he's come down and taken quick threes on little break opportunities and been short on both shots. See Winnington back in the ball game. Let's see if he stretches Olajuwon, pulls him out to open up that middle.
Winnington misses an easy one in the lane. Drexler and Barkley thinks it should still belong to Houston, and he's right.
Now, Drexler came down and he tried to answer the challenge, but Jordan is so tough defensively that he shuts you down there also.
Olajuwon.
What I was just going to say is they can't forget about Olajuwon. He's only taken 4 shots. He's 3 for 4. And if Winnington's going to score on the other end, they've got to go through Olajuwon, either get the double team or let him try to create in there on his own. But they cannot forget about Olajuwon catching the ball. He's a central figure in their offense.
Winnington with the mix. Rodman chases it down. His 5th rebound. Rodman with a jumper. And Drexler is alone on the glass. Elie with that set shot.
Inside, outside.
Almost half the shots the Rockets have taken in this first half have been 3-point attempts.
If they'll go through Olajuwon, though, Bob, he'll create opportunities because the Bulls have to double team him. With Longley not here, there's no one that can play him straight up.
And you're watching the NBA on NBC. Hannah, thank you. Speaking of the playoffs, realistically, how much trouble can Houston make for the likes of Seattle, Utah, or maybe the Lakers?
I think Houston will have a hard time.
Winnington from Jordan.
I think mentally they believe that they can turn it on once they get to the playoffs. But if you don't do it throughout the course of the regular season, it's very hard to turn it on through the course of the playoffs. And I think if they meet Utah or Seattle, they're out, 3-0 or 4-1 or 3-1.
Olajuwon with a variety of moves on Wennington at the other end.
Last 3 possessions, they've gone to Olajuwon. He's gotten him a 3-point hoop, and he scored.
Ellie is back on Jordan defensively. He had better success than Drexler did. Wennington from Pippen. It's obvious that Phil Jackson has told Wennington, if there's a shot there, I want you to take it. Don't hesitate.
Well, every time that he has one of those shots, you see Olajuwon is back, either going to help on Pippen or help on Jordan in the post. He's going to be wide open, Bob. That's a matchup that they're going to, and he's hitting that little shot.
Rockets by 4. Out of bounds to Chicago. Suppose Longley is somehow hobbled early in the playoffs. What kind of problems does that pose for the Bulls?
Well, I believe their bench is very weak when you get to their big people. They weren't able to secure Brian Williams like they did last year. Once you get past Dennis Rodman and Longley, they don't really have the type of big people that you need to advance far into the playoffs. The chess game here right now, if you're Brent Price, you got to put the ball in Olajuwon's hand so you can get Wennington off the floor, which will bring in a Dickie Simpkins, who don't necessarily have the outside shot that Wennington has.
Drexler tripped Pippen and picked up his 3rd foul, so he sits down. Eddie Johnson back in. To this point, Wennington has outscored Olajuwon 10-8. Jordan with the turnaround. And Michael has a dozen. Rockets lead, trimmed to a basket. Back to 4 as Hakeem breaks into double figures with that basket.
Now, why that play was so successful, Eddie Johnson was able to get the ball to Hakeem in the scoring position.
Jordan misses. Barkley and Rodman battle for the rebound. Charles has it, saving it into Hakeem. A whistle and a foul on Wennington trying to defend Hakeem.
Let's take a look at this play. The double team, and then Michael kicks it back out. He forces Barkley to get back out of the double team and then throw the ball right back into him. Isaiah, if you're going to double team the post, you cannot let the ball come back to the passer because that guy has to get out of the double team. Now when it goes back in, the double team cannot get there, and Michael punished him in the post. You cannot let that ball come back out to the passer.
How about Jordan being smart enough to kick it out and then repost and get a little deeper?
Olajuwon. Barkley follows, but the foul is on Barkley.
See, if I'm Olajuwon right now, I am so disappointed at the passes that I'm getting inside the post. Eddie Johnson was the only one to make a nice pass to him. Everyone else who passes it, see, look how far they pull him off the post. They pull him way out there where he has to turn around and take a shot. You got to be able to put that ball inside where Olajuwon can use his moves in the 3 to 5 foot area. You can't throw him the ball and pull him off the post into the 10-foot area.
So with the Bulls down by 4, Lubara Dickie Simpkins hits the first of 2.
Bob, this last 3:13 is where the Bulls are the best team in the league at making that surge at the end of the half, where you control the entire half, and they hit you with about a 3-minute little spurt and go in with the lead. Let's see if they can do that today. If they do, they'll crush the spirits of Houston, because Houston has outplayed them up to this point in time.
Willis is back in for Barkley. Kerr going for the steal, but Price protects it. An illegal defense call against Chicago. Just a warning. No shots until you're hit with your second during the course of the game.
Obviously, you cannot double team the post unless the player has the ball. That time, Dennis Rodman went down and got to Olajuwon before the pass was made.
Ellie from Olajuwon misses the 3.
Olajuwon can be more active with this group because Dickie Simpkins will not shoot the jump shot.
He will try to drive, however, and he draws the foul.
Foul on number 34 for Olajuwon. That's his first.
Now tonight, after the game, it's Dateline, then Cindy Crawford and William Baldwin star in a non-stop thrill ride, it says here, the network television premiere of Fair Game, 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central, NBC tonight. The foul was on Olajuwon, his first.
You know, Dickie Simpkins is a very popular guy with the Bulls. When he came back, they took out of the newspaper a picture of Michael Jordan, and they posted Dickie Simpkins' head on top of it in the locker. So when he came back, everyone made fun of him. But they love having him around because he's one of the guys, tells a lot of jokes, keeps the locker room light, keeps the bus light, and that plane ride light.
On the Houston turnover, it's in Jordan's hands, and Chicago has a chance to take the lead.
That's the first time the Bulls have shown any kind of upcourt pressure, and they forced a turnover.
Michael with 14, and Chicago in front 40-39.
You see Olajuwon had him deep there, and the pass came up top and pulled him right out of position.
Rodman tangled up with Olajuwon. We mentioned earlier that Barkley had picked up his 25th technical foul, tops in the league. Rodman barely shows up on the league leaders with 13. Relatively speaking, he's been a very well-behaved lad this year.
You see how the pass pulled Olajuwon out of position, which forces him to try to get into the lane. Rodman reaches in and takes him down and won't let him get the shot off. And some people may say that he made a little bit too much contact. However, the way we were taught, you never let a guy completely get the shot off. You take him down and don't let him get a three-point play, and you send him to the line for 2.
Houston by 1 again. Doug, what do you think happens if the best Houston team, maybe the one with Drexler that won in '95, swept Orlando in the finals, if that team with Olajuwon at his best, a dominant center, meets this year's Chicago team in the final?
Well, that's hard to say, Bob. I think the one thing that Houston is always fighting is I feel like they have 2 asterisks besides the championships they won because Michael wasn't at full speed in one and didn't play in the other. So I would like to see that. I'd like to see these 2 teams play. That would be terrific.
Of the 5 championships the Bulls have won, they never met a team in the finals that had a dominant center. Ellie back the other way. And they throw it away as Price can't latch onto it.
You got to make the simple play against Chicago. 2-hand pass, get the ball over to Price. You had Willis running strong to the post. You've got to get good shot opportunities against this team, especially before their defense can get back. The Bulls are, I think, the best half-court defensive team in the NBA.
They're so good defensively half-court because they're all interchangeable. They're so long.
And Mario Elie goes tumbling over Rockets owner Les Alexander and checks with more concern than usual as to the condition of the fan. Hello, Mr. Alexander. Now about that renegotiation. Jordan. And Elie picks it up.
Now he has him deep. That's where you got to get the ball to him. Right there. Eddie Johnson has been the only guy to make 2 good entry passes to Olajuwon to give him a scoring pass. Everyone else has thrown it up top and pulled him out of position.
Olajuwon ties Jordan for game high with 14, but not for long.
They're in a 2-for-1 situation. Let's see if they get a quick shot up here. It's going to be a 20-second timeout.
20-second timeout, Rockets.
Let's watch 2 of the best ever. Olajuwon's last hoop, and then Michael.
See, the most important thing here is the feed. He seals him, gives him the target. Eddie Johnson puts it right into his right hand where he can wheel into the middle. Jordan on the other end, watch the fake. He'll give him the fake, turn and the fade, and the elevation. These two have been battling for a long time. Two of the 50 greatest to ever play. Olajuwon, the dominant center in all era. Jordan, the dominant player in all era.
These are not all Chicago-Houston meetings during their careers. It's only when Olajuwon has been able to play. Jordan, in addition to everything else, is a tremendous Iron Man. He hasn't missed a single game since he came back from baseball.
That's what's amazing about Michael Jordan is his stamina and his energy. You know, the guy has an engine that never quits, it never dies.
I don't think people realize how powerfully built he is and how strong he is. He can just shed people with his upper body strength.
Eddie Johnson has it blocked by Scottie Pippen.
Throw it inside to Olajuwon.
Only 4 on the shot clock.
Please.
Instead, out top to Willis. You don't want Willis shooting a 3. You do want Olajuwon following. Some contact. He pleads for the foul. Doesn't get it. But at the other end, there's a whistle.
Dickie Simpkins took advantage of the fact that that time Hakeem Olajuwon was upset. He thought he was fouled. He did not run back down defensively. So the Bulls had a 5-on-4 break. Dickie Simpkins ran right to the basket, got the pass. You see Hakeem here. He felt like he was fouled on the arm right that time by Scottie Pippen, which I think he probably was. But regardless of that, you've got to run back on defense. You cannot stand and talk to the official.
Phil Jackson has gotten good contributions from Dickie Simpkins, who's at the line, and especially from Bill Wennington in this first half.
Now, that's one of the things about the Chicago Bulls, and it's been their history where they have been able to take players and surround Scottie Pippen and Michael or Horace Grant or Rodman or whoever it might be, and those players' games are elevated because of the greatness of those other players. Those players go to another team and they don't do anything, and you say, what happened? I thought this guy could play. But that's what great players do.
Last 3 seconds, Ellie from midcourt. And Chicago takes a 1-point lead into halftime. Stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report after these messages.
Back in Houston where the Bulls lead the Rockets by 1. Phil Jackson told his team at halftime they were going to have to step it up and match the physical play of the Houston Rockets. Also try to get more second shots. Now Rudy Tomjanovich has told his team very happy with their defensive effort in the first half, but what they want to do is double Michael Jordan more, especially when he's down in the post, and also keep pounding the ball inside to Hakeem Olajuwon because they feel that's where the mismatch is. Bob?
Ahmad, thanks a lot. Michael with 16 in the first half. For the sake of argument, let's assume he ends the season with the same scoring average he has now, 28-5. Shaquille O'Neal is less than a point behind him now at 27-8. If Michael holds steady, Shaquille would have to average a little more than 34 points a game in the last 7 or 8 games the Lakers have remaining to overtake him. An interesting scenario could develop because on the second to last day of the season, a Saturday night in Chicago, the Bulls play their 82nd and final game against the Knicks. Shaquille O'Neal will then know going into the Lakers' final game against Utah how many points he might need in order to win the title. But of course, that game could also in theory be important in terms of team goals for the Lakers, and that might get in the way of Shaq going on a personal rampage. These are updated numbers, including Shaq's performance in an overtime win for the Lakers at Detroit. He had 35 today against the Pistons.
You know, Bob, that scenario happened one time before on the last day of the season between George Gervin and David Thompson. I think David Thompson threw in 70, and I think George Gervin came back that night and had 63 or 64 to nudge him out. So that wouldn't be the first time that happened. But the operative word there was if Michael Jordan holds steady. When have you ever known him to do that? Back down off that.
Well, if he wins his 10th scoring title, it will be by the slimmest margin of any of those scoring championships that he's had.
I think the stakes are so high that neither one of those players will think about the scoring title. I think they both think about the team goals and the importance of home court advantage.
Bill Wennington quickly picks up his 3rd personal as the 3rd quarter begins.
They've got to keep Wennington on the floor because he's such an offensive weapon for them today. He's going to be very careful not to pick up his 4th.
That's why you got to put it in Olajuwon's hands right now. You got to understand the foul situation, and if you're a point guard, you got to put it in his hands.
Olajuwon misses long, and Harper clears it. Houston is without two important players today, Matt Bullard and Roderick Rhodes, both hurt. Jordan, 18.
See, he makes the game so easy, Bob. He doesn't, because he can shoot the ball, because he can score in a myriad of ways, he doesn't have to work so hard. He'll save that push for the last 4 or 5 minutes when it gets down to crunch time. Just races up and shoots a little jumper.
Olajuwon into the lane. A foul chance. They don't get many offensive rebounds. The team was able to follow his own there.
The key was the entry pass. Able to stay on the post, feed it into him so he didn't pull him off the post, and he was able to wheel inside. And when he did miss the shot, he was close enough to follow it up.
Ellie on Jordan. 20 for Michael. Chicago by 3. A nice pass to Drexler.
It was nice movement, nice back cut by Drexler. But the key, Olajuwon again, putting it on the floor and attacking, drawing the defense. Every time he gets the ball, he has to attack Winnington in some way.
Rodman. No luck for him. Olajuwon throws it away. No one even in the vicinity. Chicago by 1. Harper. He's averaging almost 10 points a game. That's his highest as a Bull. Of course, there was a time with the Cavaliers and the Clippers when he was the main option, and he was a consistent 20-point scorer.
The Rockets have come out of the locker room with a lack of energy. They got to pick back up the energy where they left off at in the first half and get back to work.
And Willis is fouled by Harper.
Let's watch Michael Jordan's last 2 baskets. He catches the ball, just takes an easy look, jumps up, makes the jump shot, doesn't have to expend too much energy. This time he catches it in the post. Now they want to double team him. Maloney can't get there because Michael spins away baseline, so the double team does no good. The next possession, they come back, they try to double again. They throw out to Harper, a couple little bounces. He hits the little jump shot. So the Bulls right now are in a rhythm offensively that they weren't in the first half. Once again, going through Michael Jordan.
Willis cuts it to 2.
You know, Jordan is not only the best player in the league, he's the smartest player also.
Gives it up to Winnington, who can't finish it. Olajuwon's pass for Ellie, can't handle it cleanly. Now he winds up hoisting one from the corner that goes in and out.
See, Chicago has no shot blockers on the floor. They're seducing Houston into taking those 3-point shots. They got to put it on the floor and drive it to the basket.
Jordan given room on the baseline, and he has 22.
But what you missed there about the footwork, I mean, he started to come out and take a little dribble handoff from Winnington. The guy jumped out and he back cut him and just take the little shot. What was there with the jump shot? That was beautiful, but he makes it look so easy.
Into the lane, Ellie, fouled by Michael.
Watch Michael Jordan here. You see Mario Ellie, and Michael's going to go like he's going to get a handoff. Boom, a little back cut, gives him a little shove, steps back and shoots the jump shot. How easy it is for the great ones.
Michael had a bit of a dip at midseason in terms of his scoring, but he's picked it up again lately. 41 on Friday night against Minnesota. 22 here early in the third.
See, Michael has 22 points on 11 field goals. He has not attempted a free throw yet. When he will get to the free throw line will be in the fourth quarter. That's when he'll put his body on the line and take the punishment come fourth quarter. Right now, he's getting his points the easy way.
Wennington fouled by Willis, who grimaces knowing that he gave up a cheap foul.
That was just a bad reach in by Willis. He got beat early in the play, found himself out of position, and his mind was telling him, oh, I got to do something, so he reached in and fouled.
Michael stumbled a bit, gathers himself, gets it back from Rodman, but rejected by Olajuwon.
It's good to see Olajuwon move in the way he's moving. He gets beat here, and he gets back in time to block the shot. A month ago, he didn't have that movement.
That is so typically Michael Jordan. He felt he was fouled on Olajuwon's block. And look at him. He's still griping about it. So the second he touches the ball, he has something for everybody. For the officials, for the opponents. Here, take that.
See, that pass, Maloney had to take that ball down to the baseline. Olajuwon had Wennington sealed on his back. Maloney's supposed to drive that ball down to the baseline, make the little bounce pass into Olajuwon for the layup.
Mario Elie will shoot the technical.
Second illegal defense, so Mario Elie will shoot the technical. The Rockets are a terrific free throw shooting team. That's one of their great strengths, their three-point shooting and their free throw shooting.
So the Rockets draw to within 3 at 54-51 and keep the ball. Drexler with the dish to Olajuwon, and Pippen arrives with a great defensive play.
The help and recover of Chicago, they're so quick. One man steps up to help. Scottie Pippen's back to recover.
That's called trust, and that's developed through years and years of playing with one another. I've got yours, you help me, I'll help you.
Olajuwon. Drexler. And Clyde brings them to within 1. He has 11. Michael. He's hit 5 of 6 and scored 10 of their 12 points in this quarter.
You got to double team him now. You got to double team him, triple team him. You got to send the whole team at him now because Doug, he's hot.
Well, Rudy will have a chance to think about it. Michael on his own has just about equaled the total of 3 of the 50 greatest players of all time. Here's one of them with the ball, Barkley. And another Houston turnover. Pippen. He goes to the left hand and it spills out for him. Drexler from Barkley. Pippen trying to get back, but Chicago gives it up. Drexler has a 3, and Houston suddenly jumps back in it.
That's a huge flurry for Houston. They needed that surge. I think Isaiah talked about it. They're not with the same energy that they started the first half with. They need to get this crowd revved up. This crowd's got to drive them home today.
Elie with the steal and the drive and the hoop. Just like that, a one-point game. Wennington silences the crowd.
Having a big guy that can step out and shoot the ball, Doug, like that is such a weapon because you're always going to get a good shot down court because the center's not going to come out.
Well, tell me about it. I had Terry Mills, who was one of the best shooters in the NBA, and it was a nightmare for opposing big guys because big guys don't like to cover out on the floor. They like to play in the paint.
Willis misses the jump hook and then fouls trying to retrieve his own miss.
There's the great steal by Ellie on back-to-back steals. One with the three, this time Ellie with the dunk, and Houston once again alive, and it's done with their defense.
Ellie says he learned to play tough defense years ago at Golden State, guarding Mitch Richmond in practice every day. But even Mitch Richmond doesn't prepare you to guard Michael Jordan. Scott Burrell. Harper. Tip back to Wennington. Pippen getting a breather here. And Drexler bumping Jordan before the shot, no basket.
Every time Jordan gets the ball and he's guarded by Drexler, he's either taking him to the basket or he's pulling up for the shot. He gets him right here on the pinch post, uses his arms to get him in position, breaks out. Now watch him pull through and just go right around him, and Drexler has to foul him. Drexler can't move his feet the way he used to move them. Used to be one of the great defenders in the league, Doug.
Remarkably, this is Jordan's first trip to the foul line after 25 field goal attempts.
When it's all said and done, Michael will shoot about 8 free throws. He used to be a guy that from start to finish of the game would drive the ball at the rim, realized he could not take that punishment over an 82-game season and come playoff time because teams were going to take such hard fouls against him. So he was able to step out, and he kept improving his shooting and improving his shooting. Now selectively he picks and chooses his spots, Bob, but when he goes in there, he's still devastating.
That's what makes the Bulls so special as a team. They're very intelligent. Michael Jordan, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, those guys have PhDs when it comes to basketball.
Pressure in the backcourt from Chicago. Houston avoids the 10-second call, and Willis hits the little jump shot.
Now this last possession, what the Bulls like to normally do is they like to let Michael isolate out. They space the floor, and as the shot clock starts to wind down, they'll run a guy through. Rockets are going to run him off the ball and not let him isolate. But normally they'll run a guy through and give him an opposite side to be able to attack.
Seconds to shoot. Jordan wins. Rodman runs it down. And Burrell hits the last shot of the quarter.
That's why Dennis Rodman is so big for you. He'll track down loose balls, offensive rebounds, and give you a chance to make a big shot.
Emmanuel Davis from beyond half court. Big basket by Burrell to give them a 5-point cushion heading into the fourth. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Houston had gotten to within 1. Chicago opens it up again to 5 as we start the fourth.
I think here's the real key right here. Points of the quarter. After a good job in that first half, they give up 27 points in the third quarter. And one of the real keys was the offensive rebounding. After only 3 in the first half, they had 4 in the third quarter. Gave him that big shot at the end by Burrell to push the lead to 5.
Offensive foul on Dennis Rodman. It's his 4th. Michael opens the fourth quarter on the bench, but not for long. If you're just joining us, the Bulls are without Kukoc and Longley. Tony with an injured foot. Luke on the disabled list with an injured knee that's been bothering of late. Eddie Johnson connects. Houston is without Matt Bullard and the rookie Roderick Rhodes. Randy Brown dishes to Burrell. Deadly from there.
He has been a real key for this team during this 11-game winning streak. He started out the year really struggling with his three-point shot. Over the last 24-plus games, shooting over 40% from the three-point line. He could be huge for them come playoff time to give them another shooter.
Johnson again. Good again.
Now Houston's second unit must step up right now and push this lead out and try to get control of this game. They can't let Chicago break out to a big lead here. They got to keep up with that second unit.
Burrell, 3 in a row for him.
See, what's going to happen is with Burrell shooting the ball like this, it'll force Rudy's hand to bring Olajuwon back too soon because he can't let this game slip away. They're down 6. And if the Bulls push it up to 8 with Olajuwon resting, it's going to force Rudy T to put him back in before he wants to. I think Barkley has to look to score. He's looking to pass out of the post. He needs to score.
Maloney. And Rodman with the rebound, his 10th of the game.
Even though Houston loves the three-point shot, they got to be able to put it on the floor, take it a little closer, and take the easy 2 as opposed to relying on the 3.
Willis fouling Pippen on the reach-in. The Bulls have lost 15 of the last 17 games they've played in Houston. They lead here by 6 with 10:07 left.
You know, with the triple post, a lot of times when the second unit comes on the floor for Chicago, they're able to maintain continuity. Most teams, their second unit come on the floor, and they can't maintain offensive continuity.
Randy Brown is short with it. Loose ball battle won by Pippen.
Another multiple shot opportunity. Let's see if the Bulls can cash in. But you also see with the bench, either Michael Jordan or Scotty are always on the floor to stabilize that unit.
Pippen with a 3.
See that loose ball, Bob, what it did, it gave him 3 points. Those little hustle plays, the play at the end of the quarter gave him 2. That's 5 points, and now a 9-point game.
Now here comes the knockout punch for Chicago, for Houston. If they're not careful right here, Scotty would come down and probably launch another 3 to knock him out.
He's thinking about it. Barkley and Johnson are there on it. This is a 2, but it gives them an 11-point lead. The game's biggest at 81-70, and immediately Rudy T asks for a timeout.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By AT&T, it's all within your reach. And by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
The Bulls have pushed their lead to 11 with Michael Jordan resting, so Phil Jackson will continue to buy precious minutes with him on the bench. Scottie Pippen with a big flurry. But look at the shooting. Chicago in the second half, 57% after a 40% first half. I think the Rockets have worn down. I think that the Bulls' relentless pressure, and they're finally getting better shots, and they've just worn them down.
Drexler with a basket for Houston, but they still trail by 9. Michael had a 14-point third quarter. He's resting now. Meanwhile, Olajuwon is just 1 of 4 in the second half for 2 points. Pippen for 3. Burrell. Oh, has he been huge in the last several minutes?
See, the Pippen 3 is another knockout punch. When you have the momentum going, you come out and you try to seal it with a 3. He missed the 3, but Burrell was able there to follow up.
Drexler. Rodman was able to knock it out of bounds.
Now what has happened here, Doug, is that Chicago is a smarter team. They stay with Jordan. Now they've gone to Pippen. You see Olajuwon coming back into the game. Houston went away from Olajuwon. They didn't force feed him. Therefore, they got out of the game.
Well, Olajuwon now is going to have to give him a big spurt. There's no question about that. But they're going to have to do it, Isaiah, with their defense. I know I keep harping upon that, but the Rockets are not going to get into an offensive match with Chicago right now and be able to win that battle. They've got to shut them down here.
Eddie Johnson at the line, shooting 2.
And coming up next on Dateline, a search for a lost golden treasure in the Middle East. Could have turned up something more interesting, perhaps a story. The Dateline adventure story coming up after the game. That's except for those of you on the West Coast who will see Dateline at 8 Pacific time. Eddie Johnson makes them both. He's hit 5 for 5 in the second half.
The threes are the knockout blows.
Chicago by a dozen. Expanding the lead without Jordan. And a steal by Randy Brown. Burrell on his left. Maloney cuts him off. Pippen again. It's a 2, and it's clean.
Houston has lost their confidence. They've lost their fire. Chicago just took it all out of them.
See, what people don't realize is what a great jump shooting team Chicago is. The strength of this offense is the fact that they have so many great shooters that can space the floor and knock down those open shots. Burrell and Scotty have been terrific here with Michael resting.
Barkley, a second try, and gets the roll. The man who once declared he didn't want to be a role model is now content to be a role player. Off the bench, he has only 6. Pippen driving on Drexler.
See, look at the body language of the Houston Rockets. They've lost their energy. They're losing their composure. And right now, they've just settled in their mind that we're going to lose this basketball game. They need to play with a little bit more desperation.
Randy Brown hustling after that one. Here's Burrell. To Rodman, who can't tip in his own miss. Barkley back on the run. Puts it in with the left hand. This was the first time in 12 years that Barkley did not make the All-Star team. But feels as long as he's injury-free, he still has a few more good years as he emphasizes a role player. You're watching the NBA on NBC. After sitting out nearly the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, Michael Jordan returns. He's already exceeded his average of 28.5 with 30 points so far.
See, Chicago's got a lineup right now that could play in the 6'5" and under league right now. They've really gone small.
Burrell, who has been nothing but big in this second half.
That's the killer in Chicago. Not only do they knock you out, now we're going to bury you.
Burrell has really asserted himself, not just in this game, but the last 6 weeks or so. He's really been a factor for the Bulls. And Michael was fouled coming out of the pack.
See, I think what really helped him also, too, Bob, sometimes when guys get hurt, Scottie Pippen went down, he had tonsillitis, couldn't play, and Scotty Burrell got the minutes. And all of a sudden, getting those minutes, he got into a rhythm. And it's all about confidence. You know, this guy coming out of high school was a fantastic baseball pitcher, Bob. There's a lot of question of whether or not he was going to go be a Major League Baseball player.
In fact, he pitched in Toronto's minor league system for a while. In Seattle, the Mariners also had interest in him before he decided to concentrate solely on basketball. Off Michael's miss, Rodman can't save it. So I guess Burrell and Michael can compare baseball notes on a long flight. Barkley. And Rodman with the rebound, which is his 11th.
So they're going into the post to Michael right now, and they've got the three-point shooters on the floor. And they're going to say double team us, and we're going to shoot the three. And Burrell has done that so very well in this quarter.
Kerr misses the running one-hander. Brent Price has it, but not for long as Burrell steals it. And now a smattering of boos from the crowd that was so psyched at the beginning of the game. Jordan, 32 plus a foul.
Dennis Rodman's very fortunate. I thought he got away with a little bit of a moving screen, but Michael gets right behind it, and Charles Barkley jumps right into him. And see Rodman excited. You know, the one thing that's really special about this Bulls team, amongst many things, is, you know, they have a group of guys who really love to play basketball. And I think it brings energy, it brings excitement. along with their greatness, but you know, they're such an energetic team.
That's the key to their longevity. That's why Rodman and Jordan can come out at age 35 and 36 and lead the league in rebounding, lead the league in scoring, because they really love what they're doing. They're not doing this for money. They're not doing this for show. They like to come in and play basketball on a Sunday night or a Sunday afternoon or Tuesday or Monday.
What about Wednesday and Thursday?
They would do it then, too.
There you go. Curry missing on his specialty. He's the all-time leader in three-point accuracy in league history. Drexler denied by Burrell.
See, look at him fight. Burrell, Rodman diving out of bounds, fighting for the loose balls. They're up close to 20 points, and they're still giving the effort on every single play.
You know, Isaiah, this team has gone through a lot of injuries this year. We talk about the Rockets injuries, but when you talk about Longley being out, Pippen being out, Kerr being out, Kukoc being out, the constants have been this season is the brilliant job that Phil Jackson has once again done with his team, but the indomitable spirit of Michael Jordan that just wills his teammates to, regardless of the situation, that they're going to win. They're not going to find a reason to lose, but they are going to win.
Perhaps without the spring in their legs at this point, Olajuwon, Barkley, and Ellie all miss.
I felt that they got tired, Bob. I thought they played a very emotional, a very good first half. And my concerns going into that was, were they going to get tired? And I think they just got worn down in the second half, Isaiah.
Yeah, they got worn down, but that just shows you how great Jordan and Rodman is and what type of condition they're in, because all the guys that you're talking about, Doug, they're all the same age.
Burrell. That's his first miss of the game.
That's one of those heat check shots right there, Bobby. You want to find out just how hot you are.
Drexler to the left hand. Nice move. The future coach of the Houston Cougars now has 20. Inside 3 minutes to play in the game. Jordan on the run, off the glass, 35.
Oh my. Oh
Plus
my.
the foul. And a timeout before he tries to complete the three-point play. Dennis Rodman has played every minute of the game to this point. Jordan at the line trying to complete a three-point play. He's a 79% free throw shooter. That's a low figure for him, but his mark has been on the rise since mid-season. Think of it this way. If Shaq made even around 60% of his free throws, he'd already have the league lead in scoring without doing anything else. Rodman knocks it away from Drexler. Jordan has 36 now, answering the 35 that Shaq put on the Pistons earlier today.
And don't believe that Michael didn't know that either. It's a team game and he knows that, but he's going to get a few here at the end.
Shaq dropped 50 on the Nets the other day to serve notice that he's looking for that scoring title. Othella Harrington misses. Ellie from Barkley with that set shot of his, no good. Gets it back from Drexler. He was fouled and the basket counts. Mario Ellie now with 17. He and Olajuwon, the only significant players left who were parts of both of the championship teams in '94 and '95. Next Saturday at 4 Eastern, NBC Sports presents the International Team Gymnastics Championships. Former Olympian Blaine Wilson leads the American squad against world power China. And the always tough Romanian team will also be there. That's the International Team Gymnastics Championships next Saturday on NBC. Three-point play for Ellie. Inside 2 minutes. Jordan with 38.
Set him up on the footwork, then reverse spin, caught the lob and dunk.
Barkley from Price.
I tell you, I sit here and I marvel, Bob. I had an opportunity to coach the guy for 3 years, and to see the way this man still plays the game.
There's 40.
It's incredible. I mean, I don't even know what you say about the guy.
All you can do is just sit back, watch, and enjoy. Get a big box of popcorn.
Pippen intercepts it, takes it all away, and Ellie fouls him. Maybe we shouldn't say anything. Maybe we should just look at it and savor it.
Now, did you see him set him up on the reverse? Fake like he was coming up. He and Scotty made eye contact. That's why you got to keep Batman and Robin together. Fly, here he comes. Bam. And the amazing thing, you look at him, he's not even tired. He's not even breathing hard.
But, you know, that's because he's expanded his game so much, Isaiah, that he doesn't have to fight defenses anymore. He takes what the defense gives him, and great players do that. They learn to expand their games so that they have weapons, more than one, and Michael has got them all. You know, post up, jump shooting, three-pointers.
Kerr fouled Price intentionally so that play would be stopped and Judd Bushler could get into the game, along with Keith Booth, whom they've just put back on the active roster. Pippen sits down with exactly half Jordan's total. He had 20, Michael with 40. Michael now in 2 games against Houston this year, the only 2 you play against opponents from the other conference during the regular season, had 45 at home and now 40 here, and he's had consecutive 40-point games. He had 41 2 nights ago against the T-Wolves.
When you look at scoring in the second half, after the Rockets had done such a superb job defensively, holding the Bulls to 40% in the first half and 44 points. The Bulls have scored 61 points in the second half, and their field goal shooting and their shot selection has been so good, but they have just stayed in some kind of rhythm. And this has to be a concern, Isaiah, for Rudy T as they go into the playoffs, because come playoff time, they're going to either see Utah or Seattle in that first round.
I think they'll struggle with both those teams because their guard play is so superb. With Stockton or Payton, I don't think Price or Maloney could keep up with either one of those guys.
Kerr to Burrell, and now Keith Booth. Air ball on his first shot. The second-year man from Arkansas Little Rock, Joe Stevens, is in, and the ancient Charles Jones is also in the game. Stevens with the shot and the bucket. Charles Jones is on the floor. He turned 41 the day before yesterday. One of 4 brothers to play in the league. Caldwell, Will, and Major. Plus Charles, the 4 Jones boys. Keith Booth gets his first 2.
I played with 2 of the Jones boys, Major and CJ.
Emmanuel Davis misses a 3. And the ball out of bounds to Houston. Charles Jones was named a while back to the all-time CBA team. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Stevens for 3 and hits it out of the corner. So he throws a quick 5 into the scorebook.
It'll be interesting to see if this week of practice, when we see the Rockets next week, if they're a better team when we go up to Seattle, does this week of practice help them? Will the big 3, you know, now have a chance this week to be a better team when we see them next Sunday?
Or does this serve notice officially and finally, with this their 6th consecutive defeat, that the glory days are long past and that there is no reserve in the tank to call upon? This was a 1-point game at halftime. The building was jumping, and Houston actually had a small edge in terms of the overall pace of play in the first half. But with Michael scoring 14 in the third, Chicago opened it up, and then they blew it completely open in the fourth. Keith Booth makes them both. Chicago hit 57% from the floor in the second half. Brent Price. Emmanuel Davis is denied by Scott Burrell. And that'll do it. When we come back, Ahmad will talk with Michael Jordan. The final, the Bulls 109 and the Rockets 94. Phil Jackson's team has won a dozen in a row.
Shot back in Houston with Michael Jordan, who just scored 40 points in this contest. And Michael, it seemed to me that Houston played you pretty tough the first half, and then in the second half you guys seemed to turn it on.
I think we got a good feel for them. I think you know, last time we faced this team, they didn't have Drexler, they didn't have Olajuwon, and you know, and Barkley's coming off the bench this time. So I mean, it was a different feel for us, and I think after the first half, we made adjustments, and they didn't make adjustments, and I think that was the difference of the ballgame.
Games like this have to be a little bit tough for you guys. Playing a team like this is certainly going to be up for you.
Yeah, I think we're playing a veteran basketball team, and you know, we both are old in terms of team. We feel we're a little bit more healthier than they are, and that means we can run a little bit more. And we tried to run a little bit in the second half, and I think that opened up the game.
Now, you promised Charles Barkley his shoes. Are you giving them to him?
Oh, yeah, he can get them. I'm going to certainly put the score on the side of it, though, because the last thing he said last night that, you know, we may have 5 championships, but he want the last win if that so happens to be the last one.
All right, Michael. Congratulations to you. We'll see you on. All right, back to you, Bob.
Well, he might as well get the shoes, because they certainly kicked Houston around in the second half. A final word when we come back.